This is a reading from Dispatch International. Freedom of the press cannot be limited without being lost. For more news and opinion in English, Danish, German and Swedish, go to dispatch-international.com.
Author Lars Hedegaard. Title: One Holy Warrior's Stormy Road to Beer and Bacon. Published November the 8th, 2012. Summary: Danish Islam convert Morten Storm's second conversion reveals weaknesses in Islam's plans of conquest. The closer one looks at the amazing story of the Danish Islam convert Morten Storm, who volunteered for holy war in Somalia and later became a police agent and opponent of Islam, the clearer it becomes that an Islamic power grab in Denmark will be harder than probably imagined by Islamic strategists. If a novelist had written a manuscript about Morten Storm's fantastic twists and turns, any publisher worth his salt would have rejected it. Storm, aged 36, began his career as a petty criminal and became a member of the biker gang Bandidos. In 1997, he gave up his criminal activities and converted to Islam. He grew a red beard, donned a Taliban dress, and became active in a number of mosques while appearing in the Danish press as a holy man and determined advocate of the Prophet. He also stayed in contact with terrorists in several countries. Following the attack on the World Trade Center in 2001, he became so enthusiastic that he named his son Osama after the Uber-terrorist Osama bin Laden. At the end of 2006, or the beginning of 2007, he contacted the Danish Intelligence Police (PET) and was hired to inform on his former friends. He has told 3 journalists from the daily Jyllands-Posten, Ole Borg, Morten Peel and Carsten Hedegaard, who are writing a book about him, that in 2011 he collaborated with the PET and the CIA to track down the American terrorist Anwar al-Awlaki. He went to Yemen, where al-Awlaki was killed in an American drone attack on September 30th, 2011, a few weeks after Morten Storm had left the country. In the summer of 2012, the PET offered him 1.5 million kroner if he would refrain from telling his story to the press. Nevertheless, he decided to tell Jyllands-Posten about his secret life. That happened on October 7th, 2012. Today he lives at a secret address because his former co-combatants will kill him if they can lay their hands on him. Psychologically, it is hard to make heads or tails of this confusing chronicle. Perhaps the forthcoming book will shed more light on what really happened and why. As Storm explains it in the October 28 edition of Jyllands-Posten, his conversion number 2 happened in late December of 2006. He had just bought some military equipment with the intent of going to Somalia to join the Islamist organization, the Islamic Courts, war aimed at enforcing a Taliban-like theocracy. But then he got a call from Mogadishu. It would be a bad idea to go. The town's airport had been conquered by Ethiopian forces who had sent the Islamic courts packing. Storm would be picked up the minute his plane landed. Morten Storm was so shaken at having been denied the chance to participate in the holy war that he went home to his apartment in the Muslim ghetto Gelle Uparken outside the town of Aarhus, where he sat down with his computer and Googled on contradictions in the Quran. And sure enough, in no time he realized that Allah's message to humanity was so full of contradictions that it wasn't worth taking seriously. Slowly his belief in Islam fizzled. He prayed to Allah for an explanation, but didn't get any. Suddenly, he realized that Muhammad was not the perfect human being he was cracked up to be. Actually, the Prophet had done many bad things. He went on to meet the PET agents Klung and Buddha, whom he surprised by asking for beer and lots of bacon. Morten Storm's saga is bound to cause deep worries in many a mosque. Now that one of their most cherished pin-up boys has joined the infidels, can you trust the man lying with his bottom in the air on the prayer carpet next to you? He may profess his unswerving commitment to Allah's religion, but is he too secretly eating bacon with the police? Storm's metamorphosis that came about when he began studying what the Quran really says is reminiscent of something which the British Islam expert and former Sharia jurist Sam Solomon told Dispatch International some time ago. Islam is forced to be constantly on the attack because it cannot defend itself. He pointed out that Islam cannot withstand objective scrutiny of its holy scripture and history. If people really take an interest in the Quran's contradictions and nonsense, Islam's spokesmen have no arguments. According to Sam Solomon, they are well aware of this fact, and must therefore always be on the offensive with threats and indoctrination in order to dissuade people from entertaining any doubt. If Morten Storm's story is even partially correct, it is an example showing that they may not always succeed.
This has been a reading from Dispatch International. Freedom of the press cannot be limited without being lost. For more news and opinion in English, Danish, German, and Swedish, go to dispatch-international.com.